Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another brand new video. Today, something different. As you guys saw in the introduction of this video, we did a little bit of riding and I actually mounted a chin mount to my helmet, so now I'm able to actually get some riding footage, which is kind of cool. And you may be thinking to yourself, Griff, the bike looks the exact same, there's nothing that really looks different about it. And you would be correct. Today, we're not installing anything. We're not going for a full ride, but today I'm going to be doing an honest review of almost 6 months of ownership with my 2023 F900R. I purchased this bike March 9th of 2024. It is now August 28th, 2024. So that means I'm about to hit 6 months of ownership with this bike, and for the most part, there's really nothing bad to say about it. Now, to start things off, this is a BMW, and BMW, for the most part, does not get the best rep for reliability. While that is the truth in a bunch of different occasions, this bike has so far been really good to me. Now, as you guys know, I'm very familiar with working on BMWs. I've worked on them for the past couple of years of my life. I also own a BMW 3 Series, and for the most part, all of my friends drive BMWs. And when it comes to motorcycles, I would say they're pretty much the same when it comes to reliability. So far, I've had really no issues. The only thing that I've ran into is a small issue that is most likely self-induced. So I'll get into that in a minute here. All in all, this thing has been pretty solid for me over the past 6 months. The only issue that I've actually ran into with ownership of this bike is right there, the quickshifter. These bikes come with a ZF quickshifter from the factory, so that means you don't have to use the clutch when shifting, and it allows for a much faster acceleration and way smoother while you're trying to get under power. While this quickshifter is amazing at high speeds and higher gears, when it gets down to the lower gears like 1, 2, and 3, it's not the worst thing in the world, I will say. It does take a little bit more force to get it into the next or previous gear, but I had a problem where if I would manually shift with the clutch, after going from that to a quick shift, the quick shifter was getting stuck. And I did buy this bike brand new, so it actually came with 3 years worth of warranty, which is really nice. So I just brought it over to the dealership and had them take a look at it. Thankfully, this is no charge to me as it was under warranty, but essentially what they told me was the fact that I was shifting in too low of gears, and since the bike is also brand new, the quick shifter is not fully broken in yet. So I was essentially shifting not hard enough. I would click down on the quick shifter, but I would only click it down 3/4 of the way or half of the way, which pretty much in the long run, over I don't know how many shifts, but probably a couple rides, started to trick the quick shifter, thinking that the bike wasn't actually engaging into the previous or next gear. So in conclusion, the bike pretty much just shut off the quick shifter and threw faults for quick shifter not being used properly, which does kind of make sense to me, but at the same time, I would only use the quick shifter when I was really slowing down fast, like I wasn't able to grab the clutch if I really had to brake hard, or if I was fully under power. And I really did make sure to fully engage the gearing. So I don't know if the dealership was just trying to tell me that it was my fault, but at the same time, the dealership that I go to is amazing. So I have no complaints. The people over there are great and have really been a great help to me over the past few visits that I've been there. But essentially all they did was just clear the faults, reprogram the quick shifter, and went on a test ride, and it was working just normally again. So that's really the only mechanical issue that this bike has ran into over the past few months. So really, other than that, there hasn't been anything crazy. Now, I did say there was 2 issues with this bike, and with the quick shifter being the first one, there's one more that I've just recently noticed over the past few days. As you guys can see right here behind my front fairing, there is the expansion tank for the coolant reservoir. And on the top, you can see there's this little nipple. And I'll throw in a video of it for you guys right now. But essentially what I've run into is the fact that there's been coolant coming out of the top of that little hose that is on the top of the reservoir. I don't know if there's supposed to be a hose that's connected to that, or if it's just a breather line. So if there's anything you guys know about that in the comment section down below, please make sure to leave it there. I would greatly appreciate any advice you guys have. But I might just stop by the dealership and ask them if it's supposed to have a hose on top of there or something. It hasn't looked like it's been losing much coolant. There was just a few drips down the side of the expansion tank the other day while I came off of a ride. But it hasn't been a problem. The bike's been running good. It hasn't overheated. It's had the proper amount of coolant. So it really hasn't been a problem for me. It's just the fact that there was a little bit of coolant on the side of the bike. So in the past almost 6 months, I've put on 2,312 miles. I did the break-in service around 650 miles, and I did that at the dealership. I could have done it myself, but I just wanted to make sure that everything on the bike checked out and looked all right before I actually kept riding it. And everything went smoothly. The oil looked good, no metal shavings or anything like that. Sometimes when you're breaking in an engine, whether it's a car or a bike, there's a little bit of metal shavings just to break down the inside of the engine. But there wasn't even any of that in mine, so looked all good. Got the chain serviced, cleaned, and tensioned, and ever since then it's been running really well. So no complaints when it comes to that. This bike I would highly recommend if you guys live in the West Coast. I'm here in Oregon, and the back roads here are amazing. There's so many like farm roads, back roads, highways are pretty good too. And then if you go ride down near the coast, those are also some really nice roads. And while this bike is a naked sport, it doesn't have all the fairings on it and everything, it does handle just like a sport bike. So this thing has super nimble suspension. It has all the ABS and traction control, all the safety features. So if you're a new rider like myself, I've been riding for about a year now, this bike is perfect when it comes to safety. It has all of the safety features that will help you stay both tires planted on the ground, and if you really wanted to, you are able to turn it all off. So this bike has wheelie control, traction control, ABS, and a whole bunch of other stuff. You guys can look into it if you want. But when it comes to safety, this thing is amazing and highly recommend it in that department. And rideability. I can literally take this bike anywhere, unless it's like a gravel, super chunky road that like an adventure touring bike would go on. I can probably take it there. My dad has a 2012 V-Strom, and him and I ride all the time. And him and I pretty much go wherever we want to. Unless it's a back road that's all dirt and rocky, that's really the only limitation that I've had so far, just because I don't want to mess up the paint or anything like that. Or God forbid I dropped it because it was slippery on the gravel. That would really suck. So back roads, windy roads, highway, really anything, this bike is pretty good at doing it. The only complaint that I do have is how windy this thing is. And that doesn't just apply to this bike because it's just a naked sport, but really any naked sport bike you ride on the highway, you're pretty much just getting bashed with wind in the front. So that's kind of the only complaint when it comes to comfortability. I'll show you guys the positioning of this bike. It's actually very comfortable. As you can see, you're not too tucked forward, and your arms are still able to have like a more of an upright position. And you can also tuck really well if you need to. And on a normal sport bike, your legs are honestly a lot more far back like this, and you feel a little bit squished on the bike. I'm 6'2", and this bike fits me perfectly. There, I still got about 1.5 inches to the tank, and my legs don't feel too bent whatsoever. And when it comes to performance on this bike is honestly amazing. I think it pushes out about 105 horsepower to the crank and around 95 to 98 to the rear tire, which is plenty of horsepower to have yourself some fun. Everyone online, whether it's like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, people hype up, oh, I got an R6, I got an R1, an S1000RR. While those bikes are amazing and they sound really good, it's honestly so much power. So if you guys are just getting into riding, it might be too much, and looking into something like this would be the perfect option. It has just about the same amount of power as your 600 level sport bikes, around 100 horsepower. Some of them have about 110, 120, but this thing keeps up just fine. I've ridden with some guys that ride some 600s and 650s, and this thing is honestly just as fast, or honestly even faster than some of them. So while it's a very comfortable amount of power to learn on, you can also have a ton of fun, and you're not going to get old of the power. As you guys know, I recently posted a video of installing this Aero Pro Race exhaust, and this exhaust paired with the quickshifter is genuinely so much fun to just rip up and down the street. You feel like you're going so much faster than you actually are when you pair up a loud exhaust, quickshifter, and a ton of wind hitting you in the chest. So if you're going 40 miles an hour, it feels like you're going 70. This bike is also extremely agile. The other day, I was able to lean it over to 41 degrees, and that doesn't sound that crazy, but 45 degrees is like this, which is pretty much completely sideways, and I was just under that. So for me personally, that felt like I was almost about to drag my knee, but I actually did drag my toe on the ground. Just there, I hit the side of my toe onto the pavement as I was leaning, which felt pretty crazy to me. Even though this naked sport bike is a lot of fun to rip on, it also gets pretty good gas mileage. If I'm pretty calm with this, or even if I get on it a couple times throughout my ride, I'll still average around 50 to 60 miles per gallon, which is pretty crazy. The bike does take premium, which is a little bit more expensive, but I'm still getting around 175 miles to the tank, which is honestly amazing for long rides because you save a lot of money on gas and you also don't have to stop as much. While you're on those longer rides, it's also great to note that this bike comes with cruise control. So a lot of other bikes do not actually come with cruise control, especially sport bikes. So the cruise control works amazing at higher speeds, lower speeds, really whatever you need to do. It'll go just by itself. You click over this little switch here to activate it, and then you press this button to set it. Then you can just let the bike ride itself. And then once you're done, you just click it right off. Another nice feature for longer rides, or honestly just for in the winter time, heated grips. As you guys can see right here, I have a heated grip button. This bike comes stock with heated grips. And let me tell you, when it's freezing outside, especially when you don't have thick gloves or any protectors here on the handlebars, with cold wind hitting your hands, it is so nice to have heated grips. And if you are wondering what this thing here is, this is a GPS mount. It came with the bike. The dealership that I purchased this from optioned it with this, but if you really want to get the GPS unit, I think you have to spend like an extra $400. So that's not worth it to me. I'm actually going to be making a video soon on how to remove this because it does look like it's really simple. There's just 4 screws here, but it does have a wire on this side that runs through the fairing, and then you have to unplug it from behind the fairing and then cap it off. So it's a little bit more difficult than just unscrewing it. So I'll probably make a video on that really soon. But my thought is I'm just going to get a Cardo system soon, and I can connect that to my phone and the bike. So the navigation will actually show up on the screen here, and then also play in the Cardo system once I get that installed. I don't know about you guys, but I think this is personally one of the best looking motorcycles on the market. A lot of people aren't fans of the naked sport bikes look, and they prefer the whole front fairing on normal sport bikes like R6, CBRs, Kawasaki Ninjas, whatever it may be. A lot of people have different preferences, but I personally think this is such an amazing looking bike. And really, the bike is still completely stock. The only thing that I've done so far is Aero Pro Race exhaust, New Rage Cycles rear tail tidy. Go check out New Rage Cycles if you guys are interested in any of their products. You guys can use code GRIP for 20% off of your purchase. I've also installed these Fenrir bar end motorcycle mirrors, and those are a lot better than the reindeer antlers that it came with before. And lastly, just this front fairing. This does come as an option from the bikes from the factory, but mine wasn't optioned with it. So I actually got this off of Amazon for like 60 bucks, and it works perfect, and it looks so much better than having like an empty hole in the middle there. The end goal with the visuals of this bike is to make it look just like the F900R Cup bike that they race over in Europe. I'll throw up a picture of it right here. But essentially, it's all white. It has the Aero Pro Race exhaust. It has the M livery, and it looks pretty much just like this. So down the road, I might end up wrapping the bike to match that, and then add a couple decals on there with maybe sponsors that I have for the bike, just to make it look a little bit more race-esque, if you want to call it that. Now, I did talk about the quickshifter and the exhaust, but another amazing performance part about this bike is that it comes stock with Brembo 2-piston front brakes and Brembo single-piston rear brakes. These things stop on a dime, especially when you have ABS. It allows you to not be scared to really grab the brake, and it stops really fast. So with pairing the quick shifter, downshifting really fast, and slamming the brakes, you can stop really quickly on this bike. And for newer riders, that's a really good thing to have. This bike, when it comes to height, has an option from factory. As you guys can see, this rear spring, you can get an electronic one where you have a button on your handlebar that you can raise it up and down. So if you guys have a rear passenger on the back, you can make the bike taller or lower. It also has 3 different seat heights that you can go with. I personally got the low seat. It just came this way, and honestly, I'm pretty tall for this bike, so it fits me perfect. I won't even complain. Like, it's not too short or anything. It also comes in a mid and a high seat height. So if you guys are taller, you can get the high seat height. Lower, you can get shorter, you can get the lower seat height. And even if you get the one that I have, I believe this also adjusts the height of the seat with this rear shock here. So if I really wanted to, I could lift up the bike or lower it. When I purchased this bike, it also came with a center stand, which I will say is extremely useful for when you're installing things. Like when I put the exhaust on, it was really helpful. It is also great for when you're servicing your chain and doing anything else like an oil change. It's very useful, so you don't have to get those big stands for the bike where you have to lift it up from the front or the rear wheel. You just have it on the bike just like that, and I can show you right now. 3, 2, 1. Now it's on the center stand. So just like that, you're able to easily access this rear tire and have it spin freely, work on the bottom of the bike, do whatever you need to do, and then just pop it back down off the center stand. In conclusion, I would highly recommend purchasing this bike. If you're a beginner rider, if you've been riding for a long time, really any sort of rider, this bike is perfect. It has so many amenities: cruise control, quick shifter, heated grips, really whatever you need, this bike most likely has it. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave it a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out.